everyone on the Dream Theater video is telling me to listen to Glass Prison. Apparently Glass Prison is just the bee's knees when it comes to Dream Theater. So I guess with that being said, I should probably just go ahead and listen to it. I know it's a long one though. The other thing too I want to mention is that this reaction channel, as you may have already noticed, is not restricted to metal genre. It's not actually restricted to music. As my first reaction video, I reacted to a song as well as another video by Drusive. And so if you guys have any ideas or if you have any suggestions of other content that you want me to review, I'm happy to review it. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Like, it doesn't have to be, this channel doesn't have to be strictly a music channel. It can be other things too. That being said, I guess we'll just go ahead and listen to the Glass Prison by Dream Theater. Everyone's saying Glass Prison. One guy said do Scarred by Dream Theater, but I think the most requested was, I'd recommend Glass Prison, one of their best songs and well-rounded, Glass Prison, Dream Theater, the Glass Prison. I mean, it's loud and clear. Apparently I need to listen to Glass Prison. So let's go ahead and listen to that one. I think it's a long one, so this is going to be a long video. Pop your popcorn, get your snacks, pop in some headphones, and we'll listen together. Nearly just under 14 minutes. This is a long one. All right, so let's go ahead and do a new clip because I can only do 20-minute clips at a time. Okie doke. Are you ready? Some static. Little church bell to establish the vibe. Cool. Nice. Tempo drop. This is so Frog, I love it. Wow, that's a cool wah effect use. In and there's no lyrics yet. 7/4? Stop the progression. You guys are proud though. I tease.
Crawling to my glass prison, a place where no one knows. My secret lonely world begins. So much safer here, a place where I can go to forget about my daily sins. Like here in my glass prison, a place I want.
Key shift, that's cool.
Falling, I turn up bliss again. Chasing a long lost friend I no longer can control. Just waiting for this hopelessness to end.
Tempo change again. We're back to the beginning tempo. Wonderful saw synth. Ooh, police siren. That's cool. Good use of just sound effects. That's cool. The guitar tone is real crunchy. Rhythm there. Oh, cool. They changed the feel.
Walking through the ash, a distant oasis before me.
That's cool. Ooh, that's cool. I like that articulation.
Desperate, crawling on my knees, begging God to please stop the insanity. I'm trying to believe, stop wallowing in my self-pity. We're waiting for you, my friend. Writing spin on the wall.
Nice.
All it takes is a little bit. You're now gonna save my soul. I can't break out this prison all alone.
I like those harmonies.
I'm drowning and I'm hopeless on my own.
It's kind of butt rock now. I like it.
I can't restore my sanity alone.
And this part kind of reminds me of Ozzy Osbourne. Or just the vocals, I guess. It's a good use of panning.
I need to learn.
That's cool.
My song.
well written. I like the structure of those vocals. The delivery felt a little cheesy there, but the lyrics are still good. I like this range a lot. Okay, we're back to this part. That's cool.
I can't break out this prison all alone. I'm drowning and I'm hopeless on my own.
That's the hook. This is because I've never heard this before. But this part is definitely like the chorus. If there is a chorus, I would call this the chorus. Because I'm reading along with the lyrics and I already know the melody. Like it's awesome. Woo! Hey. Woo! Yeah! I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Like candy. Love that old keyboard sound. That's some shred. I like the dance back and forth between them. That's nice. 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 Ooh. Okay, good. Good. I was done with those solos, and they structured it perfectly. Like right when you're like, okay, that was a lot of solo work. Let's get back to some heavy stuff, and we're back. Drums sound live, and as far as I can tell, they probably are. But the mix is fantastic.
Way up in the distance, I saw a door. I tried to open. I tried forcing with all of my will, but still the door wouldn't open. Unable to trust in my faith,
There's some lyrical criticism. I still enjoy the storytelling a lot.
The glass prison
melody is good. Ah, cool. Would have liked it to keep going. Like some longer glass shatter, like that kind of reverberates out for a longer. That was cool. I like that. That was a very, very nice song. Pleasant listen. Very well structured. I like that the arrangement is reflected in the lyrical composition. So you have section 1, section 2, section 3, and you could easily identify the changes in the song. Like I could pick up like, oh, okay, we're transitioning to the next section, you know. And the intro was reflection. The middle part was restoration, which I would say is my favorite section. And then the end, which is the revelation, which was well composed. Everything was really well composed. The solo work was fantastic. The guitar tones were nice and crunchy, not too fuzzy. I could hear the bass kind of in and out. I'm in and out with the bass. Like when I could hear it, I really liked it. And when it was playing with everything else, it blended in with the guitars, but in a good way. Like I'm not disappointed in it like I typically am. I enjoyed that a lot. I thought the drum mix was awesome, especially for a live feel. Everything felt live, not like on a stage or anything, but like in a studio setting. You know, it felt live from the studio. But I really like the use of the wah pedal. They just used it for that one note to make it go wow, and then they come back to it in the beginning, and that was cool. All the riffs were really, really intricate, and it's just they played around a lot with the riffs, and I really, really liked listening to that. So that was nice. I do have some lyrical feedback just on a few spots. Like I felt like most of it was great. Like if I could rate the lyrics, I would give it like an 8 out of 10, because for the most part the pacing felt right. There's a lot of space in between for some really cool instrumentation, some solo work and stuff, and he came back at interesting points. And the section, the help me, I can't break out of this prison all alone, save me, I'm drowning, I'm hopeless on my own, heal me, I can't restore my sanity alone, I thought that was the best like chorusy part. And to me, that was like the hookiest thing. I wanted to sing along with it on the second time through because I had heard it before. I liked it. That was cool. My issue is that the way that he rhymes, I appreciate it more when lyricists work rhyming in with their storytelling. And it's not like he doesn't rhyme, like he does, but a lot of the rhymes were repeats of the same word, or there just wasn't any rhyming at all. The glass prison which once held me is gone. A long lost fortress, armed only with liberty and the key of my willingness. No rhyming there. Before that, there was unable to trust my faith. I turned and walk away. I looked around, felt a chill in the air, took my will and turned it over. There's no rhyming. It didn't stick in my head, you know, whereas the help me, save me, heal me part totally did. And there's several other examples where like it was way more evident that the lyricism will stick versus some other parts that I could just kind of... But at the same time, he's telling a story. He's telling a really, really cool story about this glass prison that he's in. The glass prison is within your mind. Yeah, so there's something true. There's an important message at the very end where the revelation is that he fell down on his knees and prayed, "Thy will be done." And he turned around and he saw light shining through, and the door was wide open. The door out of this prison. And like that's the irony of believing in God, is that I'm not going to get preachy about it. I'm just going to state it as I believe it. But the irony of submission to God and the irony of submitting to Christ as your Savior is that there's freedom in it. And people think that you're not free. There's a duality in life where you are either slave to this or you're slave to that. You're either a slave to your own passions or you're a slave to something else. You know, you're a slave to materialism. You know, you're a slave to all sorts of things you can be a slave to. And a lot of people think that there's freedom in not believing in God. And there is the deception of freedom when you think that you're free from God. You know, when you think that I don't believe in that, and now I'm more free mentally than I ever was. And I don't agree with that. You know, I agree with the message here from Dream Theater is that when he submitted and said, "Thy will be done," like he's like saying, God's will be done over my own. My own will is the prison. You know, my own will, my own desires, my own passions are a prison. The enemy wants me to be enslaved to my own passions, to my own desires, to my materialism. Whereas when you submit to God and say, not my will, but your will be done, there's freedom. God opens the door. God gives you the freedom. If you want to truly be spiritually liberated, it's to submit. You have to submit to God. And that's the only way out. Isn't that weird? Because people think that the only way out is to rebel against God. You know, we have to start a revolution. And that's not freedom. That's enslavement. That's enslavement to a lie. And you can disagree. You know, you can disagree all you want. It's not what I believe, though. I believe the true freedom is submission to God. That's where freedom is. It's a duality. It is. But that's where the freedom is. If you want to be free, you submit to God. If you want to be enslaved, you rebel against God. You'll see how you're enslaved. You will. The enslavement occurs immediately, and you become enslaved to your own desires. Whatever vice the enemy can get to you, whether it be alcoholism, lust, greed, gluttony, whatever, you know, you'll be enslaved to all of those things. And the only freedom from those things is through God. Dream Theater pretty much illustrated that pretty well. That's the message I got. He said, I need to learn. Teach me how. Sorrow to burn. He has so much sorrow that he needs to get rid of. Help me return to humanity. I'll be fearless and thorough to enter this temple of hope. And the temple of hope being the Spirit of God. Transcend the pain. He says, believe. And that cool back and forth part. Believe, transcend the pain, living the life. Humility opened my eyes. Humility opened his eyes. Humbling himself. This new odyssey of rigorous honesty. Being honest about what you believe, you know, being honest about what our world is. And then he says, serenity that I never knew, soundness of mind helped me to find courage to change all the things that I can. Desperate, crawling on my knees, begging God to please stop the insanity. Help me, I'm trying to believe. Stop wallowing in my self-pity. His issue was wallowing in self-pity. And I've been there before. We've been waiting for you, my friend. This is in quotes. We've been waiting for you, my friend. The writing's been on the wall. All it takes is a little faith. You know you're the same as us all. And it's that's freaking awesome. It sounds like a voice of one of the saints or one of the angels or something. But that reminds me of a verse from the Bible. Basically, there's this demon-infested boy that like throws himself into fire and into the water. He tries to drown himself, tries to burn himself and stuff. His father was like talking to Jesus. He's like, please heal my son, because my son is like, he's crazy, you know, he's crazy and he's trying to kill himself and stuff. Clearly he's vexed by some sort of demon. And Jesus is like, oh my gosh. He specifically says, oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. Like, he's like so sick of this, like of people not having the faith to do it themselves, I guess. And like, he rebuked the devil and he departed out of him, and the child was cured that very hour. And then his disciples came, and they're like, why couldn't we cast him out? Like, and then Jesus is like, because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, which is a little bit, you have to have a little bit of faith. You shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible to you. It just illustrates the point really well. All it takes is a little faith, and you know you're the same as us all. I did have some lyrical, criticism when it came to the rhymes and stuff, like lacking of rhyming in certain areas, so that they would have been more mentally sticky, but the message is so good. And then so the second quote is, he says, we'll help you perform this miracle, but you must set your past free. You have to let go of the past. And the best way to let go of the past is to be forgiven. is to find forgiveness, to ask forgiveness, and then receive forgiveness from Christ. And that is what sets you free from your past, from your self-pity, from all the stuff that makes you sad, from all the stuff that makes you regret and get caught up in how much you loathe yourself, and how much you absolutely hate what you've done or what you've been, or the things that you've been doing, the constant giving into your own temptations and your own desires, that you wish you couldn't, you wish you could resist, but you constantly cave into. You can let go of your past, but only through Christ can you do it. You can temporarily let it go by using mental placebos and stuff like that, but these things will come creeping back unless you find salvation. This line is really cool. He goes, "You dug the hole, but you can't bury your soul. Open your mind and you'll see." Like, he's giving him hope. He's saying, like, the Holy Spirit or some sort of angel or saint is telling him, we will help you get out of this glass prison. And you dug this hole that you feel like you're clearly in, but you can't bury yourself. You can't. You might think that you are buried, that you've buried yourself, but open your mind and you'll see. And you have to open your mind to the possibility of salvation being given to you. You have to open your mind to Christ. You have to open your mind to that. And then close your mind from the former ways, your former ways of thinking, your former ways of thought. You have to close those narrow pathways, and then you open new narrow pathways of thought to the possibility of Christ being your Savior. It's legit, man. Way off in the distance, I saw a door. I tried to open. I tried forcing with all of my will, but still the door wouldn't open. And he can't get out. Unable to trust in my faith, I turned and walked away. I looked around, felt a chill in the air, took my will and turned it over. The glass prison which once held me is gone. A long-lost fortress, armed only with liberty, which is freedom, and the key of my will. Fell down on my knees and prayed, "Thy will be done." And I turned around and saw light shining through and the door was open. The message behind that, it just sounds like it's Christ. Maybe they're talking about God. Maybe they're not Christian. Maybe they're just, they're believers in God. But it's enough for me to go, yeah, it's about Christ. At least it sounds like it's about Christ. And it's just about freedom from your own mental prison. On top of that giant message behind the song, which I think is legitimate, you have this fantastic musicianship. I enjoyed that so much more than Paralyzed. Paralyzed was just like, blah. Like, it's, again, like, the message was cool, but it just felt lacking, in something. Whereas this was 3 times as long and yet far more entertaining, from a song standpoint, from a songwriting standpoint, from a lyrical standpoint. Everything about it is just better. So, good suggestion. Keep giving me suggestions. All right, guys, peace out. Much love. God bless.